This is Mrs. DeBoer, and this lesson is on how to correctly use latitude and longitude and to label the degrees on a map that we see here with north, east, south, or west, or with latitude or longitude behind the 0 degrees. So here I'm going to quickly read the directions, but what we need to do is we need to label the following degrees based upon whether they measure distance north and south of the equator or east and west of the prime meridian. We will also be labeling north, east, south, or west behind the degrees. We should accurately label each 0 degrees as either 0 degrees latitude or 0 degrees longitude. In order to do this, the first step is to recall what latitude lines are. Latitude lines are imaginary lines that run left to right. They measure distance north and south of the equator. So these are our latitude lines. They're running left to right. We always want to start from 0 when we are measuring distance. So here we are at 0 degrees. This is 0 degrees latitude, so we are actually going to label that this is 0 degrees latitude. So 0 degrees latitude. And all of these lines that we see here are measuring distance from this line. In order to figure out what these over here need to be, we start at 0 and we say, what direction did we have to go in order to get to those lines? So let's say that we wanted to get to this line right here, 30 degrees. We start off at 0 degrees and we say, we have to go to this line, and we had to go the direction of north to get to this 30-degree lines. So this right here is 30 degrees north latitude. We had to do the same thing if we wanted to get to this 60-degree line. We would have to start from 0. And we would be going north of 0 in order to get to this 60-degree line. So this is 60 degrees north. That would mean that all of these latitude lines north of the equator, they all measure distance north of the equator. So these are all north. This 90-degree line is hard to see, but it is actually at the very top, and so it runs across this direction. One important thing to note when we're labeling these lines is that these lines over here are the exact same lines as over here on this right side. This 15-degree line that runs all the way from here all the way across, this is the exact same line over here. So if this is north, this line is also measuring distance. It is north of the equator, because I had to go north from 0 in order to get to that line. So all of these as well will be north. The same is going to be true when we are looking at these lines down here. These are latitude lines. So this 15 degrees right here, it is a latitude line. It is running from left to right. This 30-degree line is running from left to right. So is this 45, this 60 degrees, 75 degrees, and also this 90-degree line straight down here. In order to figure out whether or not these should be east, south, or west, because we've already just labeled our north, we have to say, again, where do we start? We start from 0. So at 0 degrees, we say, all right, let's start at this latitude line, and let's go to this 15-degree line. To get there, we had to go the direction of south. That means this is 15 degrees south of the equator. Remember, this is the exact same line all the way across, so this is also 50 degrees south of the equator. Now that's going to be true for all of these latitude lines that are south of the equator, because we had to go south for every line in order to get to it. So all of these are going to be labeled south. So we can label south behind each of these lines. Now we are done labeling our latitude lines. It's also helpful to remember that latitude lines, they measure distance north and south, so latitude lines should only have north or south behind them. All right, let's look at our degrees east and west. We have a blank map here again. Our goal is to label these lines up top and the bottom with east or west. I know that they have to be east or west because longitude lines measure distance east or west of the prime meridian. So we always start off at 0. Longitude lines, so remember, they run up and down. So this is a longitude line. It's actually our 0 degree longitude line. And since we are neither east or west of this point, we say this is 0 degrees longitude. Let's put a long here for short. That'd be the same thing. This is the exact same thing here, 0 degrees longitude, as this is up here, 0 degrees longitude. So our next step is to label these lines. Imaginary lines are not straight around the planet, although they might appear that way on maps. When we look at this map, we can see that our longitude lines are slightly curved because the Earth is curved. So this line is 30 degrees. This line right here is 60 degrees. This line right here is 90 degrees. And then we have these lines in between. Now some students can get confused because these lines aren't labeled, but these go in 15 degree increments. So this line right here is 15 degrees longitude. This is 30. This one then here you'd add 15. This would be 45, 60, 75, 90, add another 15, you'd have 105. If you added 15 from there, you'd get to your 120. But we need to label these degrees now. And so, again, we start from 0. We always start from 0. But we have to start from 0 degrees longitude, not down here. That's latitude. And we say, well, what direction did I have to go to get from this 0 degrees to this 30 degrees? I had to travel east. That means that this 30 degree line, this is 30 degrees east. Because I will have to travel east for all of these lines will be labeled east, because that is the direction from 0 that I had to go, the direction from the prime meridian. So all of these lines. So up here we can label all of these as east. Even this 180 degree line is a little special in that this 180 degree line, show you here in a different color, right here. It's actually the exact same line as this one because the Earth is not flat, it is round, and this is where it connects. So generally we do not see 180 degrees east or west behind it. It'll just say, like 0 degrees, 180 degrees longitude. A reminder that the degrees on the bottom here, all these right here, these are the exact same as the degrees up here. It is the same line. So if I was at 120 degrees, which is this line, it is the same 120 degree line down here. So all of these will also be labeled east. These are all longitude lines located east of the prime meridian. If we look at the lines over here, it's 30-degree line, 60-degree line. So it'll be the 45-degree line, so we added 15 degrees. So add plus 15 to get to, from 30 to get to 45. We have to look at the prime meridian again and say, well, what direction from 0 did we have to go in order to get to these lines? So we start off at 0, say, well, to get to this line, I had to go west. To get to this line over here, I had to go west. To get to this line, I went west. To get to all of these lines, we are going west of 0, west of the prime meridian. So all of these lines here are going to be labeled as west. Remember again, these lines up here are the exact same lines as these lines down here because they do connect. So if you follow them, so example, this 150-degree line, remember they curve, so we have to be careful. It's the same line. So all these lines down here as well are west. We have now accurately labeled this map with our north, east, south, and west, and we have labeled our 0 degrees as either 0 degrees longitude, or earlier when we did our 0 degrees latitude, this latitude line right here. If you have any questions, be sure to talk to me or rewatch this video or segments of it.